Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're taking our second look through Grady Hendrix's book, Paperbacks from Hell, and we'll be seeing just quite what some of these books have been making on the secondary market. Now, the first part of this went down very, very well, and we had some fantastic feedback, and I'll be going through some of that as well. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Okay, so before we start looking through the books, I just wanted to go through a little bit of viewer feedback. So firstly, Stephen Wright writes, I've read Hendrix's book and loved it from the start. Such a great humour. Even got myself a pretty solid collection out of those titles. They're so hard to find for a good price nowadays. Hendrix even said he felt guilty for starting the hype, and all the YouTube channels made it even more of a thing. Starting the reissues was his way of saying sorry and bringing them back for a new generation. Really great stuff. So, as you may remember at the end of the last video, we saw that some of these key books, some of the most gratuitous horror ones, have been actually republished in a much more affordable format for a new generation. So if some of these are actually fetching crazy money, there is the Paperbacks from Hell imprint, which does now exist. Mark Westreicher writes, I love these books and I loved Paperbacks from Hell, but the pricing definitely changed after that book came out. I remember not too long ago going into bookshops and finding these for £1 or so, and now the pricing is ridiculous. Like I said, I love these books, but they're not worth £20 plus. Well, I guess the books are worth whatever people are willing to pay. I think the general consensus is, when this book came out, a lot of these books were perhaps just being overlooked. Now, maybe they're being saved, but they're also fetching pretty good prices when they do go on the second-hand market. Grant Ross 2609 writes, funny how you would glibly pass by these horror paperbacks stacked usually together on the shelves of the likes of W.H. Smith and John Menzies. If someone had told you back then that they would be valuable one day, you would have directed them to the nearest rubber room. Quite right. I mean, no one could have foreseen that these sort of things would have become collectible. But then again, I don't know, sometimes things that are readily available and seemingly everywhere suddenly dry up, and then you've got a collectible. It's just sort of the way of vintage paperbacks, I suppose. Then the last comment we've got from, NNPE6IP. He says, it's important to note that a big part of the value is driven by the absolutely stunning cover artwork and disposable nature of these books. Most weren't collected at the time, were sold next to the tabloids at grocery stores, and were printed on cheap paper. They're rare to come across in any condition. And that is absolutely right. So some of these, in literally falling to bits state, are still worth picking up simply because people want them to read. And ultimately, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's some great stuff. But if you've got a great story with an attractive cover, so great packaging as well, with a book that maybe has been overlooked for a couple of decades, suddenly, or even more, suddenly you've got a really, really great collectible. And that is probably why these things are fetching the money that they do. Anyway, let's look through the second half of Paperbacks from Hell and take a look at the prices that these have been making. Okay, so a few of these books, we're just going to see the single front cover because that's all the seller put up, and I didn't want to not include them. This one, however, was, very interesting. 14 bids, £97 for the British Corgi edition of Hell House. Look at that. Richard Matheson. That's one I don't think I've ever seen before. I'm not sure quite what's on the front there. Some sort of rubber skeleton of some sort. And this is a trio of books that sold for £38. Once again, British editions, these ones. Little New English Library one there, that Night of the War, like that. Really nice, that. Yeah, not in the greatest of condition. I think we'll see that today. And I think we saw a bit of that in the last video, that condition isn't really the main priority with some of these books. People just want them either for the cover art, or they just want to read them, experience them, So they're not all mega money, like this one here, this featured in the book, £10.70. That's not the end of the world. You're going to pay £8 or £9.99 for a brand new paperback anyway these days. This one, well, I went for £22.39, and a slightly better than average copy of this one. Zebra books, I noticed, were being featured quite a bit in Paperbacks from Hell, and they do seem to be one of those publishers, a bit like the British New English Library, where they published a lot of sort of edgy books, This one's quite nice. Effigies went for £11.09. I think it's one of those ones with a really distinctive jacket on it, slightly cut as well, I think you can see. So quite nice. The Abyss, £12 for this one. Once again, a British one, Granada. Don't remember ever coming across this one. Once again, look at the condition of it. Evidently someone had probably read that back in the day and really wanted to revisit that book. 40 years old now. This one just under £20 in British money. Death Tour. David J. Michael. This is an American Signet edition. Late 70s there. Nice cool cover on that one. Night Train. There's a few copies of this and they've all gone for similar sort of money. I mean, it's the sort of book you would sort of look over, really, unless you'd sort of had it come across your way. So, as I said in the last video, keep an eye out for some of these. This one, $8.68, you know, a bit of a classic. Certainly looks its age, doesn't it? Not in the greatest of shape, but fun all the same. Slime. Yeah, William Essex. Now, this is a little anthology series, Horoscope. I think there's at least 4 of these. All quite collectible, as are the British horror anthologies. You know, Pan Book of Horror Stories, the Fontana Book of Ghost Stories are the 2 sort of highlights in the UK. But there are lots of series across the world. This one, quite a famous one, probably his most famous book. John Farris, this one's got that nice die-cut cover, which is really nice. I think this is the paperback first of it. Yeah. Name inside. I mean, not mega money by any means. Look at that. It's only gone for $12. That's not a fortune. First printing, June 1977. Can't complain at that. Yeah, £9.51. Not too bad at all. This one, it was a best offer, so you can imagine that someone perhaps offered maybe a tenner for it, something like that, for The Scourge. Nick Sharman. Pretty nice copy of that one. Once again, a British holder edition of that. Hamlin paperbacks. Nice eyeball cover of that one. Brother Kind, rather. Yeah, not one I'm familiar with. Look at that, £41. Children's Ward, another one, £35 for this one. This was another one from Zebra Books, with that all black cover in that condition. Probably quite the collectible, that. So I can see why that one might have gone for decent money. And there's 2 or 3 others in that series as well. And in fact, there we are. There's a little job lot. One bid, and they went for £63.40 in our money, or $80. Once again, not exactly in top shape, but if you really enjoyed them at the time, really want to relive those stories, that's what you got to expect, and expect to pay. Black Magic. This is from a great seller, All Data Lost Books. You can find them on eBay. They specialise in science fiction, fantasy and horror, and generally have very high quality books. I bought loads off them over the years. A little bit dearer than perhaps you might find, but still worth it. This is the first paperback of Interview with the Vampire. I noticed possibly on the back of the TV series that the hardbacks have started to really fetch decent money now, particularly in top shape. This one, £36 for this, and look at the state of it. But it was one of those ones, just a single picture. This one a bit more like it, £11.89. Dracula Began. Fairly nice condition, this one. It's a pyramid, bit of a faded spine. Looks like a first printing. The Nesting, or Nestling. Charles Grant, might recognise that name, a quite prolific author. A spine crease on it, but generally not too bad, that one. Pocket Books, 1982, £15, or $19. Yeah, nice jacket on that one. Usher's Passing, Robert McCammon. This one's gone for $11.49. It's looks like a Halloween related one by the looks of it. Nice jacket on that, lots of detail. Yeah, $11.69, $15. Evil Eye. This one bid at $26. Looks quite nice condition, this one as well. By the author of Totem, which we will see later on. A BMI edition. Berserker. £60 or best offer. So I don't know what that best offer was. I know you can look them up, but you got to admit maybe someone's put in, I don't know, £40, £50 on that, and it's been accepted. There's a British one from Sphere, sort of thing that would turn up. Definitely worth keeping on your radar. The Changing, F.W. Armstrong. This is 1109. This looks like a werewolf related one. Then the Feeding Begins. Excellent stuff. Great jacket there. Looks like he's straightening his tie, doesn't it? The Bamboo Demons, £22. This is a New English Library. They never fail to disappoint, do they? Jory Sherman. Looks a bit of fun, doesn't it? Totem, there we are. I said we'd see it later. This one's got quite a cool die-cut cover on it, which I am a fan of. They don't often turn up in nice shape. I've got some really cool Star Trek ones with die-cut jackets on, and it was very much a trend, wasn't it, back in the day? Now, this is from Graham Masterton, one of his early ones. This one's gone for £71, this one, and there's a few in this series. Another one with the die-cut cover. This one was signed, though, so as you can see, first print signed for an early Graham Masterton. Pinnacle Books. Very, very nice. A real collectible, that one. Another Masterton here. Same money. 5 bids on this. So plenty of interest. Yeah. Creased spine, but must be rare. The Girl Next Door. £118 or $150. This one sold for. What a jacket. A cheerleader with the clown's face. Perfect spine. Is that a skull or a clown? A clowny skull. Stage fright. This is essences or hints of Iron Maiden's Eddie here. But mixing rock and horror. Stage fright. £66, that one. Fangs, what a cracker. Look at that. 71.32. Signet. William Dobson. What a great one that is. Classic stuff. First printing again. Yeah, $90. Razor's Edge. $35.66. Another great jacket. Look at that. What is going on there? Whatever is happening, it's not going to end nice, is it? It's going to end with a bit of a mess, that. Robert W. Walker, Pinnacle, £35. Then this is some of the reissues, 15 of the Paperbacks from Hell reissues, gone for just under $200. So these are some classic books. I didn't think this was a bad lot. 15 of those, that's quite nice, isn't it? All brand new, unread by the look of it as well. So get to read quite a lot of rarities there, 150 quid. About £10 a book. Here's another genuine lot. This is 7 Zebra books. These went for £120 or $152.50. Not in great shape, as you can see. In fact, anything but great shape, but sought after evidently. Here's another little job lot, $125 for this. Very, very nice. This is a really good lot, this one. Not all Paperbacks from Hell, but, you know, horror and genre related. So some good stuff there. That wasn't a bad little horror lot for £99. Then a couple more here. This is Riptide. This sold for $100. Look at it. Obviously on the back of the Jules craze. Very, very popular. Nice first printing with a nice spine. Blowfly. These are just a few highlights that have gone recently since we did the last video. Cut Great cover though, look at that. Ugh. £67. And Killer Sharks, well, you can't beat Killer Sharks. £55 on this. This obviously looks like it's non-fiction, but with that cover, who cares? And Dry Skull Dreams, look at this. $65. You wouldn't believe it, would you? The Cipher, £51 for this one. This is a bit later, 1991. It's from Dell. Bit of Fox in there, but, you know, evidently collectible. And Joyride, Stephen Cry. This one just at $60, £47. Nice with the statue there holding the head in its arms. That's good stuff, isn't it, that? And then ending on an absolute classic, one of my favourites. I like the British and American, Guy N. Smith. You can't go wrong. Great author and the king of Paperbacks from Hell. So there you go. Hope you liked that little tour of Paperbacks from Hell. Certainly it's a fantastic book, and even if you're not really into this genre, the write-ups and all the great cover reproductions contained within really make this an essential purchase if you're a vintage paperback collector. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. If you've not already, do please hit the subscribe button for regular vintage paperback content, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.